today just to tell the truth. So hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
The scene opens with a tense urgency as news of a dramatic late-night raid at the Metropolitan Detention Center spreads quickly. Diddy Combs, once a titan of the music world, now finds himself beneath the harsh fluorescent lights of a federal prison. The prison's grim reputation has already worn him down, but this latest twist is shocking. Federal agents burst into his cell, searching desperately for evidence that could tip the balance in his already fragile legal battle, leaving everyone stunned by the turn of events.
That's where Diddy has been for months now, but last week he was taken to the hospital. According to reports from the New York Post, Diddy was transported from MDC in the cover of darkness at about 10 p.m. on January 30th. He was taken to a Brooklyn hospital for an MRI after reporting issues with his knee.
The timing of the raid was no accident. Under the cover of darkness, when most prisoners were locked in their cells, federal authorities swept into Diddy's small, dreary quarters. What they were looking for, and what they found, has sparked intense speculation. Reports suggest the raid was triggered by an informant within the prison, alleging that Diddy was hiding something far more dangerous than contraband. What authorities uncovered was nothing short of explosive. Among the seized items were handwritten notes and documents now being labeled as a roadmap to obstruction. Prosecutors claim these papers included names, witnesses, insiders, and perhaps even former associates, along with chilling annotations that insiders believed to be instructions. Were these notes an attempt to silence testimonies through bribes, coercion, or worse? The haunting question now hangs over the case.
Legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
Diddy's defense team is fiercely pushing back, calling the search a blatant violation of his rights. Lead attorney Mark Agnifilo slammed the operation, accusing the government of overreach. This is a desperate attempt to demonize Mr. Combs, Agnifilo declared in a passionate press statement. He insists the search was illegal and aimed at swaying public opinion. Agnifilo has vowed to challenge the admissibility of the evidence in court, while prosecutors argue that what was uncovered proves Diddy remains a threat to the justice system.
That with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
With Diddy's trial fast approaching, the stakes have never been higher. Every discovery, every move in this case adds another layer of tension. Federal prosecutors are intensifying their efforts, painting Diddy as a man who will go to any lengths to protect himself, possibly by targeting those who might testify against him. They argue that the notes seized during the raid prove he's a threat, claiming releasing him on bail would be too dangerous. This man has unparalleled resources and influence, one prosecutor stated. He's not just a flight risk, he's a risk to the integrity of the entire trial. Inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, the atmosphere is electric with speculation. Inmates are talking, guards are whispering, and the tension is palpable. Once a global icon, Diddy now faces intense scrutiny, not just from authorities, but from fellow inmates as well. Rumors swirl about friction within the prison, with jealousy and resentment brewing over his fame and possible special treatment.
Try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
Adding fuel to the fire are reports of the appalling conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Far from a cushy stay, the facility is a harsh, unforgiving environment described by former inmates as a living nightmare. The cells are cramped, the food barely edible, and the general atmosphere thick with relentless tension. For someone like Diddy, whose life once revolved around luxury, the adjustment has been extreme. Observers have noted his visible weight loss and aging in recent court appearances, a stark contrast to the polished image he once maintained. Safety is another significant concern. The Metropolitan Detention Center has earned a reputation as one of the most volatile detention centers in the country, with violence among inmates reportedly common. The facility has faced widespread criticism for inadequate staffing and oversight. Diddy's high-profile status only makes matters worse, as his lawyers argue he's become a magnet for trouble. He's a target, one of them stated. Everyone knows who he is, and that puts him in a uniquely vulnerable position. Recent reports suggest he's even been refusing meals out of fear they might be tampered with, a claim that, while unverified, underscores the gravity of his situation.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there...
The raid has sparked renewed focus on the broader issues at the Metropolitan Detention Center, shedding light on the grim realities of America's federal prison system. This isn't just the story of one man's fall from grace, it's a glimpse into a facility plagued by problems. Over the years, the center has been the subject of numerous exposes, revealing issues like inadequate medical care and outright brutality. One infamous incident saw inmates left in the dark and freezing for days due to a power outage. Diddy's legal team has been quick to point out these flaws, arguing that keeping him in such inhumane conditions not only violates his rights but also hampers his ability to prepare for trial. Then there's the question of timing. Why launch such a high-profile raid just months before the trial? Some insiders believe it's a strategic move to keep Diddy on the defensive, forcing his team to fight battles on multiple fronts. Others speculate it's linked to new developments in the case. Either way, the situation is growing more complex.
Every jail is bad, and some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move him to another jail, is not your first argument. That's sort of
As the drama unfolds, attention is shifting to the broader implications of Diddy's case. His legal troubles have already rocked the entertainment industry, with many speculating about how far-reaching the fallout might be. Could the raid uncover links to other high-profile figures? Are there hidden secrets yet to be exposed? The seized notes, if deemed admissible in court, could open a Pandora's box of allegations and connections that stretch well beyond Diddy himself. For now, Diddy remains behind bars, his world reduced to a small cell in a facility described as hell on earth. The mogul who once ruled the music charts and graced red carpets now faces a legal battle of epic proportions, with his freedom, and possibly his legacy, on the line. As the public watches this saga unfold, one question remains: is this the beginning of the end for a once untouchable icon, or will Diddy find a way to reclaim his throne?
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
As the dust settles from the raid, one thing is clear: the story is far from over. Tensions, allegations, and unanswered questions are all building towards something bigger, potentially explosive. As we dive deeper into Diddy's desperate fight for safety, the plot thickens. What's really happening behind those prison walls? What secrets are being kept, and who stands to gain or lose the most? The drama surrounding Diddy Combs' incarceration has reached a boiling point, and the latest revelations are only intensifying the fire. While the public was shaken by the dramatic raid, what's happening behind the scenes is even more jaw-dropping. Diddy's battle for freedom has become a high-stakes chess match, with his safety, reputation, and legacy on the line. In this game, every move is layered with strength, strategy, secrets, and suspicion. The tension is only rising.
Not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
No one wants him mentioned.
Diddy's relentless push for bail goes beyond the surface. On the one hand, his legal team argues that the Metropolitan Detention Center is unsuitable for someone of his stature. But if you dig a little deeper, darker whispers emerge. Insiders suggest that Diddy isn't just trying to escape the harsh conditions, he's fighting to protect himself from threats lurking within the prison walls. These threats aren't merely physical. Some claim Diddy fears that former associates and insiders might use his incarceration as a chance to turn against him. The rumors surrounding this case are enough to keep even the most experienced legal teams on edge. Diddy has spent decades building an empire, navigating the highs and lows of the music industry, and creating a brand synonymous with success. But such influence comes with a price. Sources close to the case suggest Diddy believes some of his past allies are preparing to testify against him. What's more, there's speculation that he's been planning ways to ensure their silence, whether through persuasion, intimidation, or something far darker. These allegations suggest a man willing to go to extraordinary lengths to protect himself.
He will be sued, and I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days.
One of the most explosive claims in this case centers around the notes allegedly discovered in Diddy's cell during the raid. While details remain unclear, reports suggest these papers contain the names of individuals Diddy once trusted, people who may now be cooperating with prosecutors. Worse still, these notes reportedly included handwritten plans that prosecutors describe as disturbingly calculated. Though Diddy's lawyers vehemently deny these accusations, calling them pure fiction, the mere existence of such notes would complicate his case significantly. Prosecutors are using this discovery to strengthen their argument that Diddy poses a risk to witnesses and should remain behind bars until his trial. The stakes aren't just confined to the courtroom. Within the prison, Diddy's situation is volatile. The Metropolitan Detention Center, notorious for its harsh conditions, is hardly a safe haven for a high-profile inmate. Reports suggest tensions have arisen between Diddy and other prisoners, with some claiming he's become a target. Whether due to envy, resentment, or fear of his alleged crimes, Diddy's presence hasn't gone unnoticed. There are even whispers that he's refusing prison meals out of fear of poisoning. While some dismiss this as paranoia, others argue Diddy has every reason to be cautious in such a dangerous environment.
I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on.
Let's not forget Diddy's actions before his incarceration. Over the years, he's been accused of using his influence to manipulate situations to his advantage. Critics argue that this pattern is now working against him. His perceived arrogance and history of pushing boundaries have earned him many enemies, people who may now see his downfall as a chance to settle old scores. With his legal troubles making global headlines, the stakes have never been higher.
I thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
Adding another layer of complexity to the saga are allegations that Diddy has compromising information on other high-profile figures. Unconfirmed reports suggest the mogul has kept a trove of secrets from his years in the entertainment industry, secrets that could implicate others. Some insiders believe Diddy has hinted at using this information as leverage, potentially exposing these secrets to secure a more favorable outcome for himself. Whether true or not, the mere possibility is enough to send shockwaves through the industry.
What his team is trying to do is get the public to assume that the government is leaking some of this negative information about him, like that Cassie video. But the reality is, he's got a lot of enemies.
At the same time, Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to counter the narratives against him. They argue that their client is being unfairly demonized, pointing to his philanthropic efforts and contributions to the music industry as evidence of his character. In a recent statement, one of his attorneys asserted, Sean Combs is not the man these prosecutors are trying to portray. He's a father, a businessman, and a humanitarian. To suggest he's capable of such actions is not just wrong, it's outrageous. However, convincing a jury and the public of his innocence won't be easy. The prosecution, for its part, isn't backing down. They've painted Diddy as a man who's used his wealth and influence to evade accountability for too long. In their view, keeping him behind bars is the only way to ensure justice is served. They're also doubling down on their claim that releasing Diddy would pose a serious risk, not just to witnesses, but to the integrity of the entire trial. This is about ensuring a fair process, one prosecutor reportedly said. We can't allow someone with his resources to manipulate the system. Meanwhile, the tension inside the detention center is reaching new heights. Rumors of alliances and rivalries among inmates suggest Diddy's celebrity status has made him a polarizing figure, with some eager to align with him and others viewing him as a threat. Navigating these dynamics is no small feat, especially with so much at stake.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
Let's not overlook the psychological toll this ordeal is undoubtedly taking on Diddy. A man who spent decades living in luxury, the stark reality of prison life must be a severe shock. Observers have noted his visibly altered appearance in recent court hearings, describing him as thinner and more subdued. While his legal team insists he remains focused and determined to fight the charges, the weight of his situation is clearly taking its toll. Despite the mounting challenges, Diddy isn't giving up. His legal team is reportedly exploring every avenue to secure his release, including filing new motions and appealing previous rulings. They're also working to discredit the evidence against him, arguing much of it is based on hearsay and unreliable accounts. Whether these strategies will succeed remains to be seen.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. How long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come, within the next 2 years?
As this saga unfolds, the public is left with more questions than answers. What's really behind Diddy's desperate push for bail? Are the allegations against him rooted in truth, or are they part of a larger effort to bring him down? And perhaps most intriguingly, what secrets is Diddy hiding, and how far is he willing to go to protect them? For now, all eyes are on the courtroom where the battle for Diddy's future is just beginning. With his trial set to take place in the coming months, the stakes have never been higher. As new developments continue to emerge, one thing is certain, this is a story that's far from over. Will Diddy manage to clear his name and reclaim his position as a cultural icon, or will this be the final chapter in a career that once seemed untouchable? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this is a drama no one can afford to look away from. As the dust settles from the raid, the tension, allegations, and questions continue to build towards something much bigger, potentially explosive. As we delve deeper into Diddy's desperate struggle for safety, the plot only thickens. What's really going on behind those prison walls? What secrets are being kept, and who stands to gain or lose the most? Stay tuned, because the drama is just getting started. What do you think about the allegations that Diddy plans to silence witnesses? Do you believe he has incriminating evidence on other celebrities? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding saga. Thanks for watching.